welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're going back to a classic, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh, yeah.
By Robert Kiyosaki.
Love it.
We're really going to get into some of the core ideas about, building wealth and success, but this time we're going to go a little deeper. So if you've already read it, get ready to challenge some of those initial thoughts.
Definitely. I'm excited to see how these concepts hold up in today's world. Rich Dad, Poor Dad sparked a lot of debate when it first came out.
Right.
It's still so relevant.
Exactly. And, it makes it perfect for a deep dive. Let's start with the story of the two dads.
Okay.
Kiyosaki grew up with his biological father, the poor dad, and his best friend's father, the rich dad.
Right.
They both had successful careers, but their views about money were totally different.
It's interesting because the poor dad was highly educated. He had a stable government job.
You'd think that would equal financial security.
Exactly. And yet he struggled financially his whole life. But then you have the rich dad, who was an entrepreneur. And he really emphasized financial independence, building assets that generate income rather than just relying on a job. This difference in mindset really shaped Kiyosaki's perspective on wealth.
It really makes you think about how a good education and a stable job don't always mean financial freedom.
Absolutely. And that ties right into one of the core principles in the book, the whole idea of assets versus liabilities.
Yeah.
An asset puts money in your pocket and a liability
takes it out.
Takes it right out.
Such a simple concept, but so important.
It's profound. And he even challenges the traditional view of a house as an asset.
Yeah.
He argues that if your house is draining your income through the mortgage and the taxes and all the upkeep, it's more like a liability.
Yeah, that really made me think.
Right. It makes you look beyond the surface. Owning a home can be part of a solid financial plan, but you have to be mindful of the cash flow. If your house is eating up most of your income, is it really an asset?
He uses his first investment as an example. It was a small rental property.
Right.
And he really emphasizes that even a small asset can generate income and help you reach financial independence.
And that's key because it highlights the philosophy of having your money work for you instead of the other way around.
Yeah.
It's not about just earning a high salary. It's about creating a system where your assets generate income even while you sleep.
Now, this brings us to the concept of the rat race.
Oh, the dreaded rat race.
Kiyosaki describes it as this cycle of working for money, paying bills, and acquiring liabilities that keep people stuck.
It's like running on a treadmill.
Yeah, you're working hard but not getting ahead.
It's so easy to fall into, especially with lifestyle inflation. As people earn more, they tend to spend more.
Right.
They upgrade their lifestyle to match their income, but then you have a higher tax burden and more expenses.
Yeah.
So are you really better off?
It's like a hamster wheel.
Totally.
You're just constantly chasing the next paycheck to cover your expenses.
Yeah.
But Kiyosaki emphasizes that breaking free from the rat race requires a mindset shift.
Absolutely.
And a focus on building those assets that generate passive income.
He challenges everyone to ask themselves, what can I do today to start building my assets? Even a small step.
Yeah. And that brings us to another point, the power of financial education.
Oh, yes.
Kiyosaki argues that traditional education often ignores the financial skills you need to build wealth.
Right. He believes that's why people struggle even with successful careers. He even says that the fear of financial instability is perpetuated by the very system that says it's going to provide security.
Wow.
He really challenges the status quo and wants people to take control of their own financial education.
I love that. I'm a big believer in lifelong learning, and I think investing in your financial education is critical, especially since it's often not covered well in schools.
He talks about 4 key areas of financial intelligence: accounting, investing, understanding markets, and the law. Now, he doesn't say you have to be a master in each area.
Right.
But you need enough knowledge to make good decisions.
He actually tells a story about attending a 3-day real estate seminar.
Oh, wow.
Where he learned how to buy properties with no money down.
Really?
And he says this was key to his early success in real estate.
Wow.
Now, I know those kinds of seminars can be hit or miss, but it shows the value of seeking out specialized knowledge.
Absolutely. That's a great takeaway for our listeners.
Yeah.
Think about your own financial goals. Are there areas where you need specialized knowledge or unconventional learning opportunities? It could be a real estate course or an investing workshop. Maybe even finding a mentor in a field you're interested in.
It's about being proactive and taking control of your financial education.
Exactly.
Instead of just relying on that traditional path.
I love that, taking control. And, speaking of unconventional learning, we have to talk about Kiyosaki's cash flow game.
Oh, yeah, the cash flow game.
Like Monopoly.
Yeah.
But it's designed to teach you about cash flow and investing and breaking free from that rat race.
Exactly. Instead of just buying properties, you're like making decisions about jobs and investments and managing expenses.
Yeah.
It's like real life financial scenarios, but in a fun way.
Right. It's engaging and you can experiment with different strategies.
What I love is you can make mistakes and learn from them.
Yeah.
Without risking real money.
It's like a safe space to develop your financial IQ.
Yeah. And it really helps with self-awareness too.
Oh, absolutely.
Like you start to notice your own financial behaviors.
Yeah. Do you play it safe or do you
take risks? Do you save or invest?
Right.
It really helps you understand your strengths and weaknesses.
I remember the first time I played, I was so much more conservative than I thought.
Oh, really?
I was so hesitant to take risks.
Yeah.
Even when there was potential for big rewards.
It makes you think.
It does.
About how that might affect you in real life.
That's a perfect example of how the game helps you become more self-aware. Yeah. Kiyosaki designed it to make people think differently about money. It's not just about winning.
Right.
It's about understanding the principles.
And, speaking of taking action, Kiyosaki really emphasizes that knowledge is only powerful when you actually use it.
Right.
He encourages readers to get out of their comfort zones.
Absolutely.
And actually do something, even if it's a small step.
So let's brainstorm some practical steps for our listeners inspired by the book.
Okay.
A simple one is to start tracking your income and expenses.
Oh, that's a good one.
Anyone can do it, and it gives you a clear picture of where your money is going.
It's like a financial inventory.
Exactly.
You can't manage what you don't measure right.
You got it. And once you see your spending habits, you can make more conscious choices.
Absolutely.
Another step is to identify a few potential assets you could acquire.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be a huge investment right away.
Right.
Remember, Kiyosaki's first investment was a small rental property. It could be starting a side business or investing in a few shares of stock.
It's about building that momentum.
Yes.
Yeah.
Each small step builds confidence.
And gets you closer to your goals.
Kiyosaki also stresses the importance of mentors.
Oh, yeah. Mentors are so important.
People who have achieved what you want.
Right. And they can guide you.
They offer insights, support, advice.
I've sought out mentors my whole life.
Me too. Their guidance is invaluable.
It's about finding people you admire and learning from them.
Kiyosaki had two mentors, his rich dad and his poor dad.
Yeah.
He learned from both, even though they had opposite views.
Right.
Mentorship doesn't have to be formal.
Yeah.
It could be a family member, a friend, a colleague, even someone online.
One thing that people debate about Rich Dad, Poor Dad is Kiyosaki's view on taxes.
Oh, yeah.
He advocates for legally minimizing your tax burden.
Right, through strategic financial planning.
Now, we're not tax professionals.
No, not at all.
We're not giving tax advice here.
Definitely not.
But Kiyosaki's point is you need to understand how taxes work.
Yeah, to make informed decisions.
He argues that wealthy people don't just pay more in taxes. They use their knowledge to structure their income and investments.
To reduce their tax liability.
This often involves things like tax-advantaged accounts and understanding tax laws.
He also thinks incorporating a business can help.
Yeah.
But that's complex.
Yeah.
You need professional advice.
It's not about blindly following any strategy.
Right.
It's about understanding the principles.
Exactly.
And getting expert advice to make sure you're doing things legally and responsibly.
Ultimately, Kiyosaki wants people to be financially savvy enough to navigate these complexities and make good choices for their financial goals.
We've covered so much in this deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
I know, right?
From the two dads and their different mindsets to financial education and taking action. But like with all of our deep dives, it's not just about remembering the information. It's about finding those key takeaways that we can use in our own lives.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you hope our listeners will remember from Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
I think for me, it's about shifting your whole perspective on how you build wealth.
Okay.
Kiyosaki makes us question what we think we know and think differently about money.
Right.
It's not just working hard and saving.
It's more than that.
It's building a system so your money works hard for you.
I like that. That's a powerful message. He's encouraging us to see opportunity where others might see obstacles,
Yeah.
and to embrace that idea of financial freedom.
And he really stresses that financial literacy is the key to that freedom.
Totally.
It's understanding how money works, how to make it work for you.
And how to protect it.
Yeah. Building on that,
Okay.
here's something for our listeners to think about.
Okay.
What's the smallest step you can take today to face that fear?
Oh, that's good.
If fear is holding you back financially?
Because I think we all have some fear around money.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be something small, like reading a book on investing,
Okay.
or attending a free webinar, or even just talking to someone you admire
Oh, yeah.
about their financial journey.
Those small steps
Yeah.
taken consistently
Yeah.
make a big difference.
Absolutely. It's all about that momentum.
Right. And building your
It's
confidence.
to take control.
Yeah.
You know, rich dad, poor dad isn't about getting rich quick.
No, it's not a magic formula.
It's a call to action.
It is.
It's about empowering yourself to create a life
Yeah.
of financial freedom and abundance.
And it starts with that mindset shift.
Right.
And the willingness to take the first step.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I encourage you to keep exploring,
Keep learning.
keep pushing those boundaries.
Yeah, the path to financial freedom is a journey.
It is.
And we're excited to see where it leads you.
Until next time,
Mm-hmm.
keep diving deep.